All right, we're going to start the show by talking about Donald Trump. We're going to hit the gate running here. We're going to go right into it. My initial question here, Lavelle. Do you believe the judicial system is being rigged against Donald Trump? And if so, what hard evidence do you have to support that? Let me give you some background to why I asked that question. A year ago, Leticia James sued Trump and the Trump Organization, accusing them of routinely inflating the value of assets like skyscrapers, golf courses, and his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, padding his bottom line by billions. The judge assigned to the case, Judge Engoron, found that Trump consistently overvalued Mar-a-Lago, inflating its value on one financial statement by as much as 2,300%. The judge also rebuked Trump for lying about the size of his Manhattan apartment by claiming his three-story Trump Tower penthouse was nearly 3 times its actual size, valuing it at $327 million. The judge wrote, and I quote, "A discrepancy of this order of magnitude by a real estate developer sizing up his own living space of decades can only be considered fraud." My question remains, what about this ruling makes one believe that the judicial system is rigged against him beyond just the belief they are trying to beat him bloody and lifeless before the election? It is for you and the people out there, because I want to make sure we have the conversation so that we understand fully why we believe certain things. So, question to you: do you believe that the system is rigged against him?
I mean, that's without question. I mean, I don't know what's the true definition of frivolous charges, but it seems pretty frivolous to me if that's what you have on him is, inflating the value of his property. I think honestly, like, who doesn't do that when you put something on the market?
Yeah, when you're a developer, when you're a real estate mogul,
yeah,
you tend to. I know you tend to inflate
right
the value of your assets, especially if you're using that depreciation line on your tax returns.
Right, but you have to you have to prove it without a shadow of a doubt, and then what's the consequences, right? Like, honestly, if you want to attach fraud to it, then to me you're inflating the charges, if you ask me. And it seems like a witch hunt. All of a sudden, Trump has become public enemy number one within the judicial system's eyes. And if you look at each attorney general that's coming after Trump with, whatever type of charges, there seems to be a direct connection to a state official or leader who is on the left and could be leading that charge. So I see a witch hunt on Trump. So I think this is BS, as they say.
Okay, so there was a ruling on this lawsuit, and maybe this will shed some light to some people out there who still believe in our inalienable rights, right? Mm-hmm. There's always a hard time when a person, let's say from the left, were to say the judicial system is being used in a way that is supposed to hold people like Donald Trump accountable for his actions. That, to me, I get that. I get that point because, they're always trying to make statements where it sounds good in theory, but in action, it may be a little bit far off. So I'm going to shed some light to some people out there who still believe in these inalienable rights. Under the ruling, limited liability companies that control some of Trump's key properties, such as 40 Wall Street, will be dissolved, and authority over how to run them handed over to a receiver. Trump would lose his authority over whom to hire or fire, whom to rent office space to, and other key decisions. Again, LLCs are supposed to be considered individuals and separate entities in the eyes of the law. So my question now is this for everybody out there. This right here shows that in what world are we okay with taking an individual's private property away simply because they inflated the value of it, and the banks and insurance companies never question it? They never question it. Not only that, well, why would the state government, because again, this is Leticia James who brought this up, why would the state government take away property when there was no evidence of harm or wrongdoing to any citizen of New York State? There was zero evidence of any default, any breach, any late payment, or any complaints of harm. So how am I, and you, and Bob, and many of our listeners out there, New York State residents, citizens, how are we impacted by Trump inflating his assets on a piece of paper and a bank being dumb enough to simply take his word for it? I'm not saying he wasn't wrong for lying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is the only time we are not okay with receivership is when some mentally ill bimbo pop star is stuck under it. But we're okay with it when a big bad orange guy puffs up his ego. Then we are okay with destroying all individual rights. Like that's where I see this nonsensicalness when it comes to people in my party, where they will show up to the courts and protest against Britney Spears being under receivership for however long. But when it comes to Donald Trump, they're saying good.
Yeah. It seems very deliberate, and for me, I think it looks like this is like the test run for everyone else. Like if they can get away with doing it to Donald Trump, then they can get away with doing it to everybody within the country. If you're okay with it with Donald Trump, then when the World Economic Forum gets its way, and the United States already allowed the UN to handle our response to any type of pandemic, so they're one step closer to accomplishing that goal of you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. We're not having these conversations with each other because a lot of folks are set behind that hate and disdain for Donald Trump. But is it really like warranted? What has Donald Trump done to where he should get treated this way? It makes no sense to me.
Bob, what do you think?
I just want to jump in here, you don't mind. First of all, it's important to remember that criminal charges were brought against Donald Trump in this matter and were dismissed. They were found to have no merit. So what Leticia James has done here is she's gone into civil court where the standard of proof is much lower. In a criminal court, you have to be convicted beyond a reasonable doubt, which, pick a number, 99% certainty that you did the deed. Mm-hmm. This is maybe 51%. It's the preponderance of the evidence. So this is not going to stand. This is going to get appealed, and it's going to get tossed. The state can't, exactly. The state can't just march in and declare that Donald the Orange Man bad and take away his property. Mm-hmm. That happens maybe in Romania or something, but not in the United States.
Yeah, but it seems like it's becoming commonplace, and we are complacent about what we're allowing in this country. I thought you were going to jump on and yell at me for using the word bimbo, but
no, not at all. I think bimbo fits.
You think it fits? All right, I think it does as well. I have zero cares about Britney Spears. I think the receivership is absolutely abhorrent.
Well, her deal is a little different. Hers is a conservatorship, because she's basically nuts.
Well, they're trying to do that with Kanye West as well.
Oh, really?
That's when Kanye was running for president, and he was going a little, off the rails with some of the things he was saying, or what people would say was off the rails, when in actuality, if you actually listen to what he was saying, when it came to specifically abortion, he wasn't going crazy. The guy is legitimately crazy, but they will quickly try to hush people up, and then take away your personal rights and take away your personal belongings, your property that you should own freely and not be concerned about the government coming in and taking it. This right here is a complete overreach in my eyes. And I can see this down the line, because I'll be very honest. I've been very honest since the beginning in regards to who I voted for or who I didn't vote for in the election of Trump and Hillary Clinton, and also in Trump versus Joe Biden. I never once voted for Donald Trump. I always vote for president, but it's usually a third party, because I truly believe that we need to have a third party in New York State to come up and really bridge that gap of how far we are as a state from reality. We see what's happening in California, and how close we are becoming to that. Is that how you want to end up? Do you want to be like California? Hey, if you've got questions, please give us a call. Let us know how you feel about this issue here with Mr. Donald Trump, President Donald Trump.
585-346-3000. Love to hear from you this afternoon on Politically Correcting. 585-346-3000, 1-866-552-1009 on the WYSL stations.